Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is a very special one. We're going to talk about Wicked Widow Beauty's the newest release, and this is the Scissorhands 2 palette. This is the second time they're doing this like Edward Scissorhands theme. I love the color story of this palette. I really do. And this is already available on their website for $52, and this is how the color story is. Look how beautiful this palette is. This palette has 8 mattes and 8 duochromes. We're going to live swatches. We are going to create 3 looks using this palette. I love this color story. This retails for $52 and this is beautiful. 8 mattes and 8 duochromes and multichromes. Are you serious? I love it. The quality of this palette is 10 times better than the other alternative palette that I reviewed earlier from Wicked Widow Beauty. And I was 100% clear and honest on my thoughts for that palette. And I basically thought they're not going to send me this palette just because how honest I was, and I was not into glitters, and that palette had like 3 pressed glitters. I love that this palette is completely shimmers, beautiful, smooth, iridescent, as well as like impactful shimmers and duochromes and multichromes, which I absolutely love. And the mattes even are of like better quality. It's so pigmented, so lovely. Obviously I'm going to create looks, and I've created these 2 eye looks first, but stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's move on to the live swatches. The first shade is the Bogs, and this is basically like a pink to a blue shifting shade. It's a very iridescent shade and it's absolutely gorgeous. Based on any matte that you lay down first, it will just change to the color. The next shade is Don't Go, and this is more of like a sagey green shade. And next we have the shade Razor Sharp, which is like it's a sagey green shimmer shade, but it has like a quality of gray to it. And then we have the shade called Snowflakes, which is more of like a baby blue shade. So let's watch this. By the way, if my sound seems different, that's just because I just tested positive a few days ago, but I feel much better. I wanted to just put this video up for you guys, and yeah, I could not wait myself to play with makeup. So I felt a little better today, so I thought of like filming it for you guys. So those are the first 4 shades. You can see how beautiful. You can see the formula difference in this palette. Like even in the shades that I just swatched, these 4 shades, the top shade is definitely more of an iridescent multichrome. The third shade, the third shimmer shade, is more of a duochrome shade, but it is an opaque shade. And I love the variety of the mattes and the shimmers that was chosen in this palette. Love it, absolutely love it. Okay, let's move on to the next 4 shades. The first shade is called Scars. Love this shade. Love. I love a good burgundy shade. This might be my favorite shade of the palette. Actually, I don't know. Out of the opaque shimmers, this might be my favorite shade. And this is called Mysterious. And this is more of like a green to a gold to a blue shifting shade. Definitely a multichrome. The next shade is called Blend and Blend, and this is definitely more of a murky green shade with like a lot of olive in it. Again, a very good shade for like grungy eye looks. And then we have the shade called Secret Visitor, which is more of like a shimmery blue shade, but it also shifts to a purple. Really pretty. If you base this on top of a green, it will take more of a green tone. But if you base this more on top of like a blue, it will take more of a blue tone. So let's watch this. I have like live swatches on my Instagram too, if you want to check that out. And my Instagram is just, it's Smithy Sony. I'll put everything in the description box below for you guys. And this is the final shade. So stunning. And those are the next 4 shades. Look how stunning that is. I cannot wait to put that shade on top of my eyeballs. Like, I love it. I might actually create like 4 eye looks. I'm not sure right now, based on my health. But I might do 4 eye looks. Okay, the next 4 shades. The first one is Imperfect, and this is more of like a toppery shade with like a mauvey base to it, but a lot of blue specks of sparkle to it. And then we have this, which is Peg, and this is like a muted purple shade. Look how stunning that is. And then we have the shade called Ice Dance, which is more of like a royal purple shade with a lot of blue in it. And last, certainly not the least, we have the shade called Bells, which is like a deep royal blue shade. So let's watch this. So that is the next 4 shades. Look how stunning that is. Oh my God. They absolutely outdid themselves. For this palette, I have no doubts. This definitely, I know this is just January. I am pretty sure that this palette will rank up high in the palette ranking video. Like, I love this color story and the quality is stunning, absolutely stunning. Now let's talk about the final 4 shades. The first shade is Mansion, and this again is like a very murky but deep purple with a lot of gray to it. I love this shade. Oof, I love this tone of purple. And then we have the shade which is called Isolation, which is, it's more like a Christmas green shimmer shade. And I don't think there's like a duochrome effect to it. I feel like this is like an actual shimmer shade. You let me know if you see a duochrome. And then we have this shade which is called Garden, which again is like a garden green shade, but in a matte format. And then we have the last shade of the palette, which is called Neighborhood. And this is more of like a deeper teal green shade. Very, very sparkly. If I have to say like one gripe about this palette, I feel like this green and this green are very, it's not the same. It's very close to each other. This definitely has a lot more blue to it. If you ask me if I had to choose one shade, I would choose this shade instead of this green shade. I don't think both of the green is required in this palette, but nevertheless, this palette is amazing. So let's swatch the final 4 shades. So those are the final 4 shades. And that is the entire palette swatched for you guys. Look how stunning this palette is. I'm in love. Love with the color story, love with the pigmentation, love how it performs in the eyes. Truly, truly amazing. Okay, now without further ado, let's move on to the eye looks. Okay, let's begin with the first eye look. If I sound a little weird, it's just because I'm sick. I want to squeeze in this video as quickly as possible because before I get like more sick. So let's begin. I'm gonna begin with this shade, this blue shade, which is called Snowflakes. And then I'm gonna deepen it up with this dark blue shade, which is called Bells, in the inner and the outer corner, and then we'll move forward. Okay, I'm gonna first begin with the blue shade. Definitely outside my comfort zone, but let's begin. Super, super pigmented. By the way, I have no primer down. I just have a little bit of concealer. Let me tap off the excess because this feels like it's definitely gonna have some fall back. Like that. Super pigmented. I'm gonna pat this off on the inner and the outer corner. I'm gonna just pack up a little bit of like powder, loose setting powder underneath my eyes, just so that if there's any fall back or like kick off, I can catch it like that. I'm gonna continue the same thing on the inner corners too, and I'm just gonna bring it a little higher up just because we're gonna go with the deeper blue, and this lighter blue would just help this to blend with the deeper blue. Look how pigmented that is. And just imagine this, if this was on top of a primer, it would just pop a little more. Now on the same brush, I'm going to take that deeper blue, which is Bells, and then just pack that on top of it. So beautiful. Definitely packing it up. And I'm so glad that both these shades are in this palette, because one without the other, I don't think it makes sense. Especially for me, I like a good blue, but if there's like not a lighter blue to melt it down, I mean, I don't like it. I definitely want like a blending shade of blue too. Like that. Not gonna overblend anything. Just gonna blend the tiny little bit on the edges. I'm not worried about the center at all, just because I wanna get a different shade on the center of the eyelid. And for that, I'm gonna take my NYX glitter glue, take a little bit on the back of my hand and pat it right down the middle where I have no shade at all, just for a tacky base. Just like that. And then we can go two routes. I want a translucent shade. We can either put Imperfect or Bogs on top of it. I don't know. I feel like I want to combine these two shades together. So let's use this. I'm going to take this shade, the Bogs. And this is like a iridescent pink to a blue shifting shade. And I'm going to pack that. Oh my God. You know what this look is reminding me of? The Club Nebula palette. There's a very, very similar eye look that Angelica Nyquist created. I'll pop a picture on the screen. Oh my God. I feel like I'm recreating her look. Like, she has a very similar look on her channel. I'll put a picture of her on the screen for you guys. So now, if you did not have the Club Nebula palette and you wanted to recreate that look, I mean, you have this palette now. And I'm gonna just look how beautiful that shade is. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Love it. I'm gonna finesse this off by just putting a little bit more blue on the inner and the outer corner. And I'm gonna put the same matte shade on my lower lash line too. And I'll come right back. I love how different it is. I really, really love it. I'm gonna take the same blue shade. I mean, it's clearly like a pink to a blue shifting shade, the box shade. And I'm gonna put that in my inner corners. Look how beautiful that is. I'm gonna finish this eye off with some liner and mascara and some black in the waterline, and I'll get right back. And that is my first eye look. I finished this eye off with a blue highlighter too. It's an iridescent highlighter from Sugar Drizzle, and I used this shade which is called Twinkling Down. This one. It's like a blue to a pink shifting shade. Really, really pretty. Now let's move on to the second eye look. Okay, so for this eye look, I definitely want to dip into the purples because you know I love my purples. So I'm going to first start off with this shade Peg. And this is a beautiful lavender purple shade. I'm going to put this all across my eyelid. Look how stunning that shade is. And this I wanted to be more, even this shade, even this eye look is like super airy, but super stunning and like super Jitek, I would say. But very, very simple to achieve. I'm going to apply the same kind of technique on this eyeshadow too. Let's see if we want a halo or just like a plain eye. That looks really, really good as a crease shade. I'm going to take the same shade on my lower lash line too. I'm going to take this shade, which is Mansion, the deep purple shade, and this is like a very gray based purple but very deep, I would say. And I'm going to take that on my outer corners. Actually, I'm going to do a halo. I'm going to leave the next eye look to be more of like a simpler eye look, I would say. Even these are all simple, but just not halo on the third eye look. I want both of these eye looks to have like a similar style. I just love halo eyes. What can I say? Really, really love that. I feel like all these would be so stunning together. Even the center eyelid that I use, the bogs on this on the center eyelid would also be stunning. But I definitely want to use the other shade, the imperfect shade, and see how that looks. I'm going to take the same shade on my lower lash line too. I'm in love. Love, love, love. Let's just blend the edges. Look how seamlessly those mattes are blending, even though it's a purple. I'm not bothered about the center because I'm going to put a glitter glue there. Oh my God. When I say Wicked Widow Beauty has improved their formula, oh my goodness. Sign me up for every other release that you have. Oh my goodness. I'm in love. Oh my goodness. I was drooling over this color story no matter what. I was going to purchase this no matter what. But when they reached out to me that they're going to send it, I was like, oh, yes, yes, please. Okay, now let's move on to this shade, which is Imperfect. It's such a smooth shade and it reflects to like it has a purpley base to it, but it has a strong blue flip to it. Can you see that? Stunning. Okay, I'm going to put that. Oh my goodness. Can you see that? Can you see that? Oh my God. This is stunning. Very ethereal. Very beautiful. Now, both the shades that I tried right now on the center of the eye look are both sheer and topper-like. It's not sheer. You get the point. It's very ethereal, sparkly, topper-like. So it gets to the base that you have laid down first. But if you use any other shade in this palette, it's super, super opaque. And that you'll see towards the next eye look that I'm going to show. I'm going to take the same brush with no additional product and just blend the edges. Now for the inner corners, I'm going to first dip into this shade, the Imperfect shade. And just put that on the inner corners. And I'm going to take this Box shade. This is the perfect inner corner, I would say. And just put that right on top. Just like that. Oh my God, I'm in love. Okay, let me finish this eye off with some liner and mascara and I'll get right back. And this is my second eye look. I love how both the eyes turned out. I love how ethereal, how airy it is. And I finished this eye off again with the same highlighter palette. And I used this shade, which is Star Shine. It's more of like a purple to pink shifting shade. Perfect for this eye look, I would say. Now the next eye look, I'm definitely going to focus more on the greens because, you know, the majority of the palette is green. So we have to incorporate that. So without further ado, let's move on to the third eye look. Okay, so for the third look, I'm going to start off with this shade, which is Blend and Blend, this one. And then I'm going to deepen it up with this maroon shade, which is Scars. And then I want to do this on the lid, but we'll see. Let's begin. So I'm taking Blend and Blend. It's like a murky, dusty green shade. Yeah, this is going to be like a perfect grungy shade. I'm going to take it all across my crease. I just don't know how to pull off these shades, seriously. But people pull it off so well. I envy you guys. So once we have that all across our crease, now I'm going to take the maroon shade, which is Scars. Oh, this shade might be like my favorite matte shade of the palette. Actually, no, the purples are amazing. So, oh, look at that, look at that. Look at the depth. So I'm going to build that in my outer corners. I'm also going to take the same shade on my lower lash line. Just like that. Now I'm just going to take a clean blending brush and just buff out the edges. Just like that. How beautiful that deepening shade is. Lovely. Okay, so now What are we gonna do? I'm gonna take this blue shade, the Secret Visitor, on my outer corners to like the middle of the eyelid, and this would be all over eyelid shade. So let's begin. I'm gonna start off with this, a Secret Visitor shade, and I'm gonna put that right here. I don't have any primer or anything on my eyelid. I'm just gonna place it right there and melting it with that deep shade. Now once we have that melting into that deep shade, I'm going to take this shade, which is Mysterious. Beautiful multichrome shade. Stunning. I'm going to put that all across my eyelid from the inner corner to about the center. So gorgeous. Now I'm going to take my pinky finger and then I'm just going to put that right there on my inner corners using the shade which is Imperfect, and then I'm just gonna sparkle that along like that cut crease, like faux cut crease. I love it, love it. Looks like a peacock. Let's take this shade, Garden, along the lower lash line, also along with this deep shade Scars. Just like that. I'm going to finish off this eye with some liner and mascara and I'll get right back. And that is my third eye look. I love how beautiful and mermaidy this eye is. I really love these combination of shades. Now let's see if we can like create like deep and dark and smoky on the other eye. Now slowly but steadily, I really want to take this shade, which is Bells, this blue shade, all across my crease, and I'm gonna melt that, like blend that into the shade, which is Don't Go. So let's see. I'm first gonna slightly pat all across my crease because it can totally go out of hands very quickly. So I'm just gonna pat it first and then slowly start blending the edges. Because it's a blue, I don't want to blend too much and lose that blue. And that's the main reason why am I going with the patting motion. So it's building really well. Can you see that? Now I'm going to take this shade, Don't Go, on a smaller blending brush and start patting it right across the edge and then slightly circular motions. Gonna take the same shade on my lower lash line. I'm gonna put some glitter glue right in the center of my eyelid. Nothing much, just right in the center. Because we've already laid down those mattes, I want the shimmers to stick onto top of it. Okay, I'm gonna start. Oh wow. I'm gonna start off with this shade, Neighborhood, right in the center. And then just go all across my eyelid. Because I feel like this green melting into that blue would be amazing. Just like that. And just for a subtle pop, I'm going to take this shade, which is a Razor Sharp, and pop it right in the center. Just for a subtle dimension. Just like that. I'm going to put this same shade, Razor Sharp, on my inner corners. One more thing, I'm gonna mix this blue shade and Scar shade together on my lower lash line because I need some kind of depth. I'm gonna take that blue and that Scar shade and just blow it out on my lower lash line. And that will just make it like a little more like a deeper blue. And I'm going to do the same thing on my outer and the inner corners too. Bells and Scars, just like that. I'm just wiping off the excess on a towel. I'm just going back on Don't Go. I'm just blending the edges. Now I'm going to finish off this eye with some liner and mascara and I'll get right back. And that is my fourth eye look. I love how all these shadows perform. If you are a big fan of blue and green, I feel like this palette will not disappoint you at all. I really feel like even if you're not a fan of blue and greens, these purples, I love them. These 5 shades, these 5 shades, this multichrome is stunning. Absolutely. Actually, everything in this palette, the quality is absolutely A++. The only shades that I did not use is Ice Dance, I think, and Isolation. These are the only 2 shimmers that I did not use. This green and this blue shade. But rest everything I've utilized. And I cannot wait to test this more, because I loved how all the shades turned out. I really hope that you guys enjoyed all the 4 looks that I created for you guys. And I'm really sorry for my voice. I hope I get well really soon. But sorry for this raspy noise. Do let me know in the comment section below, out of the eye looks that I've created, which one was your favorite? I certainly cannot decide. If I can, I would put it on the screen for you guys. But yes, I really hope that you guys loved this video. I certainly absolutely love this palette and I give it a 2 thumbs ups for this palette. I love the direction that Wicked Widow Beauty is going. I love that they have made again, the palette is magnetic. You can move these shades all around and make your own color story. And I love that this palette is designed in quads. That's how I see it. I feel like if you just see this palette in quads, this can behave easily like 4 quads, but you can mix and match and create more looks. I feel like the options are endless with this palette. I love the direction that you're going in Wicked Widow Beauty. I love it. Absolutely love it. I love how concise this palette is. I love how much product you're getting out of this palette. And I love the color story and the pigmentation. Absolutely stunning. But that's all for today, guys. If you did like this video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week. Every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.